there's a very rare possibility if the government changes in St. Vincent, and we're speaking now in 2020, elections are coming up soon, that they will change diplomatic relations, that we will go with China. So says the opposition. What would you say if you were to speak directly to the leader of the opposition? What would you say to him?
Are you okay with, let's just say all 125 students are in school. Are you okay with uprooting them? Let's say they're in third year of university. You say, okay, let's switch to China and they'll go to school in China. Are you okay with uprooting them? They're in third year. They've done 3 years of studies at a university. Taking them to China where those 3 years are worth nothing and they have to begin at first year again. Is that okay with you? And if the answer is yes, you're a sick individual. Honestly speaking, you're a sick individual. Because, like I said, 125, we're a population of 110. So if you do the math, it's approximately 1% of the population. And that's your people. And you're okay with setting back 1% of your own people by 3 years, by 2 years, by 1 year. Even like as a mechanical engineering student, if you told me after my first year, which is my hardest year, was done, I had to go to a different country and start over, I'd probably have a mental breakdown.
So you're saying this is what will happen if we switch to China? You will have to, and every student will have to start from the beginning again.
Well, for me, not so much, because I've completed all my 5 years of my scholarship, so I wouldn't have to. But there are students that have come over here. Maybe it would not affect the language students as much, but students that have completed their first year, their second year, their third year, it's gonna affect them a lot. And you have to think about people's psychology. Imagine putting so much of it, and it's not easy because some of them are doing these courses in Chinese and they're barely passing, and then after your first year you pass with your 70 something, 60 something. So some of you might be lucky enough to get 80 something, 90 something, and you pass, and it was so hard. You're just like, oh my god, I actually got through this. And then somebody comes along and tells you, oh, yeah, you have to move, and by the way, that year that you just completed and stressed you out and all of that, you got to do it over.
And of course there are repercussions, because each person in St. Vincent has 10, 20, 30 people in St. Vincent. Each person in Taiwan, each student in Taiwan.
Yeah, so think about it. Like, you have 125 students here, and each person has a family of 10. That's what?
1,250.
And each person probably has more than 10 friends as well. That's 48, I also think that, I don't want to get political, but it's kind of a political question. You're putting me in a spot here. But I also think that even if people are unsatisfied with the government right now, and they're unsatisfied with the opposition, they're gonna be forced to vote for who's going to keep their family or their friend in school, because they know the repercussions of having to change.
They're economic and psychological.
And for me, because I was a student, I think more about the students' well-being and mental being. So that's why my answer is the way it is. I wouldn't pay attention to the economics part of it, and I'm worried, honestly worried about the young people that are here, that with the kind of despair they would feel knowing that they have to. You think doing an engineering degree and keeping your grades above 60 is easy? No, it's not. It's not anywhere in the world. And like I said, Vincentian students are known for excellence. They would go to sleepless nights. They would put the work in just to be able to get that grade above 60 to keep their scholarship. And somebody comes along and tells you have to start over. It's psychologically wrecking.
Okay, let's end on a positive note. I want you to tell me your thoughts about Peggy Carr, who has just been made a cultural ambassador officially. Give us somebody who's never heard of Peggy and does not know what role she played. She's been here for many years, another trailblazer, another leader. Give me your thoughts on Peggy. Describe who Peggy is.
Peggy, didn't I tell you? Peggy's our Taiwan mommy. She is honestly a mother figure for all of us. If we run into trouble, if we need somebody to talk to, there's always Peggy there. Even if she's at work, she would say, give me 5 minutes and I'll call you. I'm doing something at the moment, but I'll call you. You just have to say, Peggy, I need to talk to you, and she'll make herself available. I was so happy when I heard that she got the cultural ambassador, because I really think that she deserved it. Everybody that's been to Taiwan can tell you something positive about Peggy. Taiwan is a good place to be if you want to develop yourself, but there's pros and cons to being everywhere, and I think with Taiwan, the pros and the cons basically level themselves off, and at the end of the day, it's what you want to do, it's what you want to be. So yeah, I've had 50% good experiences, 50% bad experience. If you ask me if I like Taiwan, I'll tell you sometimes. Because sometimes I really enjoy it here. I meet the best set of people with the best personalities, and they're so heartwarming to talk to. But then sometimes you just meet really mean people. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay, one more experience. Can you tell me about that experience where somebody got really sick, they fell unconscious? We don't have to mention the name. How Peggy was and yourself and Dev were able to help.
Actually, Devan, myself, and Peggy were going out, and the person, we were going out to meet with the others to have a dinner. They'd just come up from St. Vincent to Taiwan, and we took a bus, and we thought she, took a nap. She was it was one seat, and she said she was tired. So we let her sit, and we thought she took a nap, not to know that she actually passed out in the chair. So when our stop was coming up, we pressed the buzzer, and we were like touching her, wake up, wake up, wake up. And she was not budging at all. So eventually we passed this stop, and we were going like 2-3 stops, we were still going, and we would have ended up in the mountains. We were not getting her to budge, and then she finally budged, and we got off the bus, and she was like, she doesn't feel so good. She could barely stand straight. She was wobbling all over, and we tried our best to lift her and take her to a bench nearby. And then she was just like, yeah, she felt sick, she wanted to throw up, she doesn't feel good. And we eventually decided to call a taxi and go to the nearest hospital. We took her to the nearest hospital, and we stayed there with her the entire night. And she was just so thankful, because she just come over here, and you wouldn't expect anybody to, you don't know me, I don't know you, but we took you to a hospital, and it was a get together where everybody was there. We messaged everybody and was like, it's okay, we're not coming, we're dealing with something right now, and we stayed with you the entire time. You don't really find that anywhere, and that's just the kind of person Peggy is. That's the kind of person we are, and that's what Vincentian culture used to be. But I find recently a lot of people are more selfish. They don't really think about others. And I have another story where somebody passed out again, and my school, actually, I was working and going to school, and I had just gotten home from work at 11 o'clock in the night. You throw off your clothes, you lie down to go to sleep, and then my phone starts ringing. I answer it. They're like, one of your countrymates passed out and is at the hospital right now. We need somebody to stay with them. Can you go? And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And I was off to the hospital. I stayed there with them the entire night. They felt bad because I apparently folded myself up in a little chair and fell asleep while they were sleeping, and they woke up and saw me there, and they felt so bad. But I was like, listen to me, we're all Vincentians. We're in Taiwan. there's literally, like, compared to their 1% population, who's like 1 billion people, our 1% population, 125. You know, we have to look out for one another because we don't have anybody here. And I think that's the spirit that Vital Association was built upon. I think that's the spirit that Peggy, you know, passed on to us who came, not just myself, but past students. Look at those students, Smiley, James, Trendon. Look at those students that came to help us. It's like a spirit of giving that Vincentians used to have, that she's kind of embodying, and she's, you know, helping us to understand and, you know, spread that joy.
Thank you very much.